Rick,
There we are.
hey, there we
Hey,
are.
this Rick Robinson and Scott Stroud here. I'm looking at my watch right now. It's 2 o'clock. Boy, gosh, we hit that right on the button. It's almost like we're professionals at this thing, Scott.
Well,
I don't
if,
know
if,
what happened
if
happened
they
there.
knew the planning that when that went into that execution to hit it bang at 2 o'clock, or how huge an accident that actually was, either way.
And one way or the other, it worked out perfectly. Now, as people are looking at this screen, what you're going to see is myself. I'm Rick Robinson. I am the executive director for industry relations or the executive vice president for industry relations at manufacturedhomes.com. I'm sitting here today on the beautiful Cumberland River. Scott, remarkably, is in his house, but is remarkably only a couple miles from me. I think if you looked out the window right now, you could probably see the Cumberland Lake. He's sitting on Cumberland Lake. I'm sitting on Cumberland River. We're both happy to be here bringing you this webinar instead of out fishing on a beautiful, beautiful day here in Cumberland, Kentucky. We're going to give it another minute or so because we see some people that are still joining up, and we'll get going here in just a second to start this second in the series of Success After COVID-19, how to embrace technology and how to survive and thrive in 2020. But we are, for those that are joining us, and I see the numbers clicking up very quickly, we are glad that you're here and glad that you are joining us for the first down in the weeds session. It's great that we chose you, Scott, to be the first one to dig down into the weeds on some of these issues that we're talking about.
Well, we are going to get down into the weeds. And by the way, everyone, there's a chat box. We do accept questions throughout. Rick and I will both be kind of monitoring that chat box. If you've got a question, just throw it up there into the chat and we'll address it. If not at the beginning or during, then we'll address it afterwards. Matt says hi from Mount Vernon, Illinois. Hey, Matt. Eric is on. Mike is on from Cincinnati. Hey, that's pretty
Hey, Mike.
close.
I know. I think I know who Mike is. I think I know which Mike we're talking about. Mike, good to see you.
And
If it's a different Mike, it's good to meet you.
Orange County, California is on. So we've got a good group today. Good group. Cecilia from San Diego. Chris from Dallas. Hey, Chris Nicely. I think I know Chris. Yeah.
Our buddy Chris Nicely is on there. I've been trying to figure out how I can get him out fishing out on this river. We've been talking about that next time he comes to Kentucky.
Well,
Let's go ahead and Scott. Let's go ahead. With it's 2:02. I see the numbers are even more starting to pop up there. Let's go ahead and get rolling with this. Um, Welcome everybody to number 2 in our series of webinars that manufacturedhomes.com and LearnMH is sponsoring on how to emerge and thrive in 2020 as our economy pushes forward here in the second quarter. What we're doing with these webinars is just kind of putting the basics out there of some of the first one we did put the basics out there of what we're doing. Now we're going to dive down into the weeds. Now we're going to take different examples. We'll tell you about the sessions that are coming up. But we're going to take these examples and we're going to really get down into the weeds and talk a little bit more about the particular topic that we have. I'm really excited today that we have with us Scott Stroud. Scott, if you want to talk about the guy who wrote the book on customer relations for our industry, go ahead and flip your slide. Yeah, he not only wrote the book, he wrote 2 books. Uh, this guy has been in 1989. I was a punk kid on Capitol Hill working for Congressman Jim Bunning. This guy was already in the industry and already been a voice out there talking about manufactured homes. He's an author. He's a speaker. He used to have his own uh, webinar program that he did every week, and he is the guy who is Mr. CRM. You want to talk about customer relationship management? This is the guy. You're looking for the guy. I got a guy. This is the guy, Scott Stroud. Now, Scott, we're going to talk today about really how to embrace technology. And I have to say, up until a couple of years ago, you and I have talked about this. I really was a Luddite when it came to technology. And it's the river behind me that changed my mind because I bought my first Orvis rod, and then Orvis signed me up for their mailing list. And suddenly, 2 and 3 times a week, I get these wonderful emails with these fishing videos, with these call to actions in them that I need to, if I see somebody on there that has caught a brownie, a brown trout on a new fly that they've developed, I'm in talking to my wife going, I really could use a dozen of those. I mean, I don't mean to, they hook me every time. Pardon the
Yeah.
pun. They
Yeah.
hook me every time. And I've not only become a believer in how this stuff operates, I'm one of the suckers that falls for it. I look at every email that comes through from those folks.
Well, you're not a sucker for that because there's a science behind it. They are sending you specifically information that's relevant to you based on what you've asked for, based on what you've purchased, based on what they know to be your interests. And honestly, when you're getting information that you want, that's of interest to you, you open it. If they started talking about things that you weren't interested in, then you might opt out. You might just unsubscribe and go somewhere else. But they're really focused in on you as a person. And that's the technology that exists today that makes online shopping so easy for you. But it's the same technology that makes it imperative and so exciting for us as sellers.
So what's the why? Give me a good example of the why for our industry. Why should we be doing what, for instance, Orvis is doing with me?
Yeah, I'm not just going to answer why. I'm going to answer why now, because now is a critical time. Right now, let's take today. I want you to meet this family. We've got Jerry and Rebecca and their son Jackson. Jerry and Rebecca share a 2-bedroom apartment with Jackson, and that's great. They've been happy there until this COVID thing happened, and now, fortunately, they're both able to work, but they're both working from home. And so here they are in a 2-bedroom apartment, both of them with their laptops out, trying to get space apart from each other where they can communicate and work. And they've got the 3-year-old running around. What do you think life is like for them right now?
Well, I've been saying from the beginning of this thing that 9 months from now, there is either going to be a doubling of the number of children that are born in America or a doubling of the number of the divorces that are filed in court in America. And maybe both. It's a cramped quarters, and it's a little frustrating for this family.
Do you think that they're having the conversation at the end of the day when they were both exhausted from trying to get work done, that they're saying, honey, as soon as we can, we need a bigger place?
That's exactly what they're talking about.
Place. That's what they're talking about. We need a bigger place. In the last, here's some statistics in the last 2 days that we've got a newsletter yesterday from the Seattle area showing that in the 5 counties surrounding Seattle, Washington, the housing rates are up, purchases are up between 8 and 13% over last year. That has happened in the last 3 months since COVID has impacted our lives that way.
That is a shocking number to me, Scott.
That's huge. That's huge. It's more than it would have been if we had not had the virus. Not only that, prices are going up and inventory is dropping down because where people can shop online, they can get online, they can see, they're even buying sight unseen without having set foot into the home, because the technology exists that can make that home as real and give them the full experience, just like being in it, without leaving their living room. So those are the things that we need to embrace right now. So that's where we are. In the 1880s, there was an industrial revolution, and that changed. That made manufacturing and production available. And that lasted for about 100 years. In 1990s, there was the technology revolution. But before in the 1990s, or 1980s rather, 1980s is when we started seeing cell phones, personal computing, the internet, which led to websites, which led to the 2000s, where now we've gone from phone books to Facebook, from on-site to website. These are all how technology has impacted us, sometimes in ways that is so subtle that we failed to take notice of it. But
the virtual sales room isn't really the future anymore, is it? It's now.
The virtual sales room is now. And listen, it has been the now for the last 5 to 10 years for those who have been embracing technology. Now, unfortunately, and this is all of us as an industry, we're woefully behind in the use of technology.
Why is that, Scott?
Well, number one, we didn't need to. Number two, you and I, we're representative of a lot of the industry in terms of our age. I know that you've been married. You just celebrated your 36th anniversary, and you're from Kentucky, which makes you at least 48 years old. I can say that I'm from Kentucky. And,
that's right. We're both Kentuckians.
So our industry is full of people like us, digital immigrants. This digital thing happened, and we had to learn it. Whereas these guys on the screen here, Jerry and Rebecca, they're digital natives. They're born into this. And so doing things digitally comes naturally for them. We need to embrace it and start and catch up to where our buyers are today and what they're wanting. So that's what we want to talk about. The first thing is to meet buyers where they are, and where they are today is in their living rooms or on their phones, on their computers, mostly on their phones, shopping for what they want and making decisions that way. So we need to be there for them to find us. We've got to go where they are, right? They can't find us if we're not there.
Isn't to some degree, Scott, you're also, when you're doing that, go back to that previous slide a minute. I kind of like that slide because it was one of those, I look at that, and to me that not only shows the strategic planning to meet buyers where they are, but for the sellers, for our retailers, for our dealers that are out there, isn't that going in and actually setting their brand online, setting what their brand, what their elements are, what they believe their mission is in their business?
Well, it is. It's the entire brand. It's your brand is what people think of when they see your name. And to the previous point, if they don't see your name, you have no brand. If they don't think of anything, if they can't find you and learn about you, then your brand suffers, because only those people that can find you and that see you can help you develop a brand. But there's a lot of elements to this picture right here. You're seeing a call to action at the very top, shop floor plans. Well, we know that people love to shop. They want pictures, they want plans, and they want pricing. The three
people love
things
pretty homes. People love pretty homes like they want to see pretty fly rods every time I buy one.
Yeah, so we've started. We've got this. We've got shop floor plans. We've shown the pictures and the plans here. Learn more about this. Click here. Get a quote. So those are technology, but this is expected. We're building our cars online, anymore and getting prices before we ever leave our home and go into the dealerships. Our homes are being built the same way, are being shopped the same way. If we want that business, then we've got to respond to what people are asking for. And there's four things that we want to go into here. There's that will help us to use technology properly. Let's talk about strategy first. You can use technology, but you start automating a bad process and you get bad results. So what's our strategy first? We want to AIDA. We want to attract their attention and engage engage remote buyers. Those people like the ones I just showed you that are sitting at home shopping, saying, we need a new home. We want to cultivate their interest. And that's how we really engage them. We cultivate their interest by feeding them the things that they're looking for, the plans, the pictures, the prices, the video tours, the information, and the CTAs, the calls to action. We create
like Orvis sending me videos all the time of somebody out there catching a fish bigger than I'm catching.
Every time you see that picture and you salivate for that experience, it's not just it's not just the fish, it's the experience that you're buying from them, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And what good, tell me, what good would that be if they sent you that picture, they got you all excited about that experience, and there was not a buy now button underneath it?
Oh yeah, you would not find me getting in the car and driving 30 minutes to my closest Orvis store.
Exactly.
You'd see me fish. You see me doing exactly what I do, and that is fish around the website and figure out how much money I'm going to spend today.
Yeah. So we create that desire. We make people salivate for homes. We want the reaction. We want it to be staring at the screen, going, "Honey, come here. You got to see this. Come here. Look." That's what we need. And so that's what we can do. Until 3 months ago, we were doing it online, maybe or on site. Maybe we're still trying to get people in, and they're coming on site and they're experiencing our homes. And certainly, there's no substitution for that experience. But we've got to create that desire and prompt them to take that action. And I'm saying that action is now instead of 3 months ago, we were telling people that action needs to be to click a link, to learn more, to come in and see you. But now that action is really whatever that customer feels is the next appropriate step, as long as it leads to the sale. If they want to give you a deposit with a credit card online, then let them. But don't assume that they have to come into the model to do that anymore. We've proven that is not the case. So
I want to mention something about strategic planning. Our strategic planning for this webinar was that I was going to be sitting on the river and doing this today. If you look behind me right now, I keep clicking on and off my microphone button because we have a torrential downpour on the river. So part of strategic planning is knowing that the plan can always be changed a little bit depending on your environment. Luckily, we didn't go with the plan we had.
Absolutely, but our plan, we want it to be a longer term plan, not weather reliant. But that's out. So when we think about the shopping process, how people search for a home, we've got to remember that is now part of the buying process. And it's not two different things anymore. They are merging into one, and technology is what is allowing them to do it and will allow us to make up that difference. So they do their online search. They find top listed websites. Will they find us? They browse for sites looking for that aha moment. They're looking for that interest that creates the desire. They request a quote. So when they find it, there's the shop now button we've got on this picture. When they go in, they enter their location, they find they click that quote button. What happens next? See, what happens next is completely dependent on us. And I can tell you, if what happens next pleases the prospect, then they move forward with us. If what we have set doesn't meet their expectations, then they go somewhere else. So that's why it's critical. They're waiting for something to happen, and it better happen fast. So how do we attract their? We're going to come back to how we make that part of our strategy. I'm going to run through your online presence right now.
You refer to it as cultivating attention. a lot of times. I know that's one of your lines that you use. What do you mean by cultivating attention? Is that mean it's going to be a series, an ongoing strategy of pushing them into action?
So, Rick, how many emails do you get every day?
I could not even begin to imagine. Probably if you count everything that gets thrown into spam, at least 100.
Yeah, at least 100. Okay, and most of them you don't remember. There's no interest.
I do a lot of unsubscribing.
Then Orvis hits you, and you go, "Oh, that little filter in your brain goes, hey, Rick, you're interested in this."
Right.
Okay. So,
and I'll spend a half an hour watching how to read a river, how to read a stream on the video they send out that day.
Okay. So, but our interest levels grow, right? We have a curiosity. Maybe we become aware of something. Then there's maybe they're shopping for real estate and they had no idea that a manufactured home was really going to meet their needs. So they're looking into these manufactured homes. Well, I know I'm looking for an existing home, but these manufactured homes keep showing up. And finally, they click this link and they go, oh my goodness, I never knew that was there. So to cultivate interest, we get a little bit of interest and we build on it. And we want to make them more interested and more interested and more interested until the desire kicks in and they take action. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Okay. Now I get what you mean by the cultivation, and again, getting me to want to click that email out of the hundreds that I'm getting every day. Eventually I'll see that so many times. I'm eventually going to click on that.
Courtship. It's a courtship. You 37 years ago, you saw that girl and she looks good.
Say, I've been in a courtship for the last 36 years.
You get that. I'm curious. That kind of looks good. But the more you engage, the more interested until that action took place, right? Same thing that we want to do here. Starts right with getting found online. So it's your online presence, your brand online. We've got to get found. They have to find our website. And when they do, it's got to be clean. It's got to be designed to grab their interest. We've got to show our best our best professional photography. We've got to give them
homes, right?
Pretty homes. Not a lot of text, but enough to tell them what we do and that we are there for them. You said earlier, it says the virtual sales center is not the sales center of the future. It's the sales center of now. It's the sales center in a lot of industries. It's been at Orvis. It's the online. They've been using it for 5 years. It's an online sales center. Which do you think Absolutely. They could do without if they closed all their stores or they closed their website? Which one would have the biggest?
They could do. I think that's going to be one of the things that comes out of I don't know whether we're in a recession or not. We have to have more numbers before they declare it an actual recession. But I've been saying that's one of the things I think is going to come out of what is happening right now in the economy is that you're going to see more people going to a technology-based sales system. And you're going to see more brick and mortar just shutting down. I mean, take a look at Twitter and Facebook. What have they told their employees? You don't have to come in anymore.
Yeah, we kind of like this.
We own a building downtown. Twitter says, but don't worry, you don't have to come to it. Remarkably, you're doing your job probably better at home. So just stay there.
I think I agree with you. I think real estate prices are going to tank. Our commercial real estate is going to tank. And office space is plentiful.
Office space.
And everybody's going to be moving into the home that will now satisfy their work and home life together because they're going to be
welcome to my office space. You can take a look behind here.
And mine, it's funny. I've got the same view if I turn left, right?
Right.
But here I don't have your imagination, Rick. So I'm going to stay here. Some of the things when we talk about that virtual sales center, think about how you engage with people when they walk onto your site. What do they ask? What questions do they ask? What do they want to see? How do you talk with them? Now recreate that online, recreate that as a virtual space. They're still looking at the same things. They still have the same questions. They still interested in seeing, but we can actually do a better job presenting our product online with 3D tours, with excellent photos, the best of the best photos, with video home tours. And then
if you're showing homes without skirting, take them down, put up something new, right?
Well, yeah, that's taboo. We need to show our homes the way people would want to live in them. And that's why the virtual sales center gives us some distinct advantages, because we can do that. We can show that model without having to have it in stock. We don't have to show the one that we have in inventory, the one that's our model that we've got on site. We can show the very best rendition of that model online, allowing people to see the very best. We want to make sure that, again, getting found, our virtual sales center, when we've got all that content, we're writing that content for primarily for the buyers, for the people we want to populate our sites with the information that they want, and keep it in simple bite-sized pieces. However, we also want to include the words and phrases that allow them to get found. When they start typing in a search, manufactured homes or affordable housing or prefab homes or whatever it is, when they type in that search, we need to have enough keywords on our website that talk about what they're searching for, so that they find us. That's
what SEO is, right? I mean, when you get down to it, people like me, who, I mean, I work for a technology company. I'm learning this stuff, but before I went to work for manufacturedhomes.com, I don't know that I would have known what SEO is. But
you couldn't even spell SEO before you came
couldn't
here.
spell SEO, but it's the algorithm that the search engines use, right?
Yeah.
To find you.
Well, yeah, and it's simply somebody does a search. They search for manufactured homes in Springfield, and the search engine says, I got to find results that match what they search for. And so they look on all the websites and the writing, the words on all the websites, until they find manufactured homes. Well, that looks like a match. Let's bring it over. And then the sites that have been long, they're the longest, that have the highest authority, that have the most backlinks, and that have the most authority in that respect. They're the ones that get listed first. After
that becomes the science, right?
Yeah, that's the science behind it. So to make sure that our sites have the relevant content is king, like the last site said. It's what's on the site that the search engines read. The backlinks, when you're linking to directories, when you've got a link from manufacturedhomes.com or from your state association back to you. State association's big. They're going to get a lot more traffic than you do. Manufactured Homes is huge. It gets a lot more traffic than you do. So when there's a link back to your site from one of those larger sites, that builds your authority. They're saying, oh, this big site is linking to this, so there must be something there of interest. So that's how all that works. That's how that SEO works. When we link to directories and we have backlinks from the directories, when we get other sites that give referrals back to us, our social media is critical. Our social media, because now the search engines, Google owns YouTube. Yeah, and so when somebody searches for something, what do you think Google looks first on its own property?
Something they own.
Something they own.
On their own product. Yeah.
Exactly. In fact, YouTube has become its own search engine. So yesterday, this is, yesterday or day before yesterday, I typed in manufactured home on YouTube and found this picture with a video, a 4-minute video that was posted 1 month ago and that has already gotten, can you see that, Rick? How many views it's gotten in the last month?
I'm looking forward to see that. 19,000 views.
19,000 views in 1 month. You think people aren't searching for things on YouTube? YouTube is a search engine too. So that means these videos that we do, that's what engages the buyers, when they can see a video, when they can see a video walkthrough, when there's a 3D tour that they can take where they can manipulate the screen and look left and look right and go in and experience each of these rooms, that's golden. That's shopping. That's the way they've wanted to shop for the last 10 years. And now we're giving them the opportunity to do that. Well, we better be, because there is no other opportunity. Cultivating interest and desire. Here again is when they've got that interest and we want to turn interest into desire, like that courtship. Then we do that online by giving them the ability to interact. And that's what a 3D tour is. When they can take this little oval or the circle and they can move it around the screen, and now everything, they're in control of how they experience that home online. They can walk through the home, they can back up, they can turn left, they can turn right. And it's not just what they're seeing, it's the fact that they are engaging.
You know, I've been amazed since coming to manufacturedhomes.com, the number of people that are going on to our main site, manufacturedhomes.com, go figure, but who are spending much more time than I would have ever thought walking through homes. I mean, we're not talking that they're going on glancing. We're talking that they're going on and spending 5-10 minutes walking through a house.
Exactly. They will do that. Hey, I'm looking at some of the comments over here. I've been just yakking and not watching. But Jenny, hey Jenny, good to see you. Jenny saw the same email that I got, that nationally mortgage purchase applications are up 18% over this time last year. All that in the last quarter, in the last 3 months, because they're buying. Thank you. I saw Elliot's email on that this morning, and I meant to mention that. Mike says, Scott, to your point, over 90% of manufactured housing managers listed communication is the key to rent collections. We all know that communication isn't face-to-face, especially during the pandemic. Technology is key to moving forward. We used to say that 93 or 95% of people will experience your website before they come onto your sales center. Now it's 100%. Now we know it's 100%. They're only getting to us through online. So yes, this interaction. Thank you both for those comments. Right now, give them the ability to play with it. Okay, to experience it, because once they do that, when you've got them engaged with you and they're interacting with you, then it becomes real to them. They are developing rapport. You're developing a relationship, even though you've never met them. They're developing a relationship with your product, with your website, and then it will be with you as they engage with you. You're talking to somebody, they're not leaving their home without a mask, gloves, and their PPE, their personal protective equipment. They want to come into your model, but they're afraid. So you talk to them, you say, hey, let me take you on a personal tour of that model. And you grab your phone, and you're going to say, here we are in the living room. What do you think? Can you see that? Yeah. Well, okay. What do you think? This is this. And now you're taking them on tour. We can do that with Skype, with Zoom, with FaceTime. I found this Home Rover Bright Door, which is a real estate support company. They just released Home Rover, which is an app that you can put on your phone that makes it easy for you to do these home tours. So now that's rapport. They are guiding you. Turn left, go closer. Let me look at that. Ooh, I love that. What color is that? What is? So now they're asking questions and you're taking them on tour, even though they're still sitting in their living room. That's what technology is like. When we have our sales calls, we're here. Rick, I'm looking at you. We're having a conversation. I'm looking right at you. You're looking at me, not my slides. We can use Zoom webinars. Zoom is free, by the way. You can get a Zoom account where you can have a Zoom call up to 40 minutes with 2, 3, 5, 25 people, 100 people, I think. It's free. It's absolutely
free.
Free.
I think right now is the good time to take advantage of that technology, because I wish we could see everybody that's online to say raise your hand. How many people in this chat room right now have talked to people over the last 2 or 3 months via a Zoom meeting, a web, Facebook Live or something? Our kids, Scott, we've hit that age of whatever hair is left is turning gray. And our children are incredibly worried about, us being infected with COVID or whatever else. And a lot of our conversations, we had a weekly call that we go in through Zoom, or we go in through a house party or one of those. Again, Facebook Live, we do those. I think right now this is something that consumers would really buy into because they're doing it personally.
It's how they've wanted to shop all along. And right now, because we have no other option, we're finally acquiescing to use the technology that lets them to do this.
You can have an online discussion with me and not sell my cigar. I mean, not be offended by it. There you go. So,
Yeah, that's right. If I were allergic to your cigar, that you puff away, you're not going to bother me. So we see these things. So, but
yeah, I think to me, this, up until this to me really becomes your key of what you're talking about. Of how, okay, you've gotten everybody. How do you motivate them to do the call to action? How do you motivate the consumer to get there?
I mean, up till probably a month ago, I was still hearing salespeople and sales managers and even sales trainers saying, yes, but people don't buy online. Guess what? They do. They will take the next step. Now, what they were saying is, but you don't understand. We don't sell online. And see, there's a huge difference. It's meeting those buyers where they are. So how do we motivate action? Number one, that interaction. We're talking the beauty, the value of a 3D home tour is not just that they can see what they want. It's that they're doing it. They're engaging. They're interacting. Our emails need to be interactive. We ask questions. What do you think? A or B? And let them choose. 2 pictures. Which do you like best? Which meets you? A or B? Which are you looking for? A retirement home, a startup home, or a move-up home? Click A, B, or C. When we're doing those things, we're now, yes, they are clicking, they are engaging, and we're building. We want to be compelling. That's what our photography does to them. But also reasons why. When we're sending out a nurture campaign, you talked about cultivating interest. That's what a nurture, a follow-up campaign does. Where every few days they should get some information from us. Not, hey, are you ready to buy? Hey, you ready to buy? Hey, you ready to buy? But instead, it should be, here's another reason, okay, why a new home is a good move right now. Here's another reason why why you should consider purchasing from us. Here's another reason why. So when we present them with reasons, with things that are compelling to them, it works so well. We've got we want to be relevant to them. Again, when we ask, are you interested in a startup home or a retirement home? Well, you would address those two in 2 different ways. If somebody came on site, said, yeah, I'm looking for a retirement home, you're going to show them a whole different set of features that match that point of their life as if there's retirement. If you're in a community, certainly you're going to show them a much different set of features. We're going to talk about, if they're retirement, well, here's security. Here's safety, here's quiet. If they're startup, here's the school system we're in. Here's how close we are to the schools. Here's how close we are to shopping. So those different things. So be relevant and create that desire with them. Once again, what we show on the right side of the screen, this picture, beautiful picture. We're asking them, they've got at least 4 choices. They can click on the floor plan, they can click on the 3D tour, they can click for more information, or they can click to get a custom price quote. Which do you think people will click the most?
I'm guessing that the first thing they would click, and this is we have not rehearsed this. I'm guessing they do the 3D tour because it's what I do.
Yeah, I think most people do. And I think next, instead, they're not going to want more information. They're going to get a pro. price quote because they see a picture. Now they're seeing a video. Now they just want to, now they,
how much will this thing cost me?
So the big green button, the 3D tour is here. The big green button is what captures their information. When they click that, they give you their name, their contact information, what they're interested in, where they're going to buy in order to get back that quote and the information that they want. So now that gives us the ability to continue that conversation. See, it doesn't stop there. Now the communication is not from them and relying on them. It's to us. Okay? So that's where, that's, if you don't have that, if they don't do that, then they've come, they've seen, they've left, and you don't know who they are. So that's where we get it. So that's where now we've got to embrace the technology that lets us take that name and respond in a way that meets their expectations and respond in a way that continues to build that interest and engagement. When we talk about engagement, that's what a CRM does. And that's what our automated systems do for us is create that engagement. We can use it for re-engagement. If you've got a ton of leads in your database, you've got Excel spreadsheets, or you've got databases or CRMs with 3,000 names in them. Okay, great. How many of those are actively pursuing a home right now? 30? Yep. What do you do with the rest of them? They are there for a reason. Well, let's re-engage them. Let's put them in a program that shakes that tree. It says at one time you were interested, Rick, in a beautiful new home from ABC Homes. Now there's never been a better time to buy.
What do you get out of the re-engagement? What do you see you generally come out of a re-engagement plan? I mean, do you shake it 3%, a 5%? What comes out of those when you get a follow-up? Do you get follow-up emails on?
The longer you do it, the more that you get back.
Okay.
I talked to a salesperson that says ABC leads, right? You got your A leads, which are really hot ones. B leads are they're of ready, willing, and able. They've got 2, but they're waiting on the 3rd, right? And the rest are C leads.
Right.
He said over the course of a year with a good re-engagement program, half of his sales come from leads that used to be C leads.
Unbelievable.
Half of his sales. So you're ignoring those people. You're ignoring the opportunity to double your sales or triple your sales.
And the low-hanging fruit then, apparently.
Well, you've already paid the money to get them. And it costs nothing to continue to reach out to them. It's just that we stop. Yeah, as an industry, we stop. Well, I called them 3 times and they never returned a phone call. Forget them. They must not be interested. Well, they're dealing with her mother who's been in the hospital, had a stroke, and they've been away for 6 weeks trying to take care of that. It's not that they're not interested. It's that either you've not given them compelling reason to act now and to call you back, or circumstances haven't allowed them to do it. So do both. Give them time and give them reason. That's what a re-engagement program does. And then measure. The other thing a CRM allows us to do is to measure the things that we're doing that our sales team is doing. We measure. Sales managers know that you don't manage people. You manage activities. You manage what they're doing. So our call logs, our responses, our notes, our contact history, our tasks, those are things that you can see and manage. Not only does it help me or a salesperson manage their own day, but it helps the sales manager. Talk about engagement. Speed wins.
This is again one of my favorite slides that you have.
People don't realize.
Yeah, okay. I think this is one of the most informational slides in your entire stack.
Well, it should hit us in the face because we ignore these numbers. But these numbers come out of the housing industry. This isn't just from Orvis or automobile. This is from housing. 23 people expect an instant communication. When they hit this big green button, get a price quote, you know what they do? 23% go, okay, I click the button, I give you my name. They're waiting for something to happen right now.
Why is my phone not dinging?
Yeah. They pick up their phone. Where is it? Come on. 21% will give you up to 30 minutes 16%, in which we would say, oh, good, I got a new lead. I'll call them when I get in tomorrow. Right? I'll call them within, I still see, thank you for your interest. We'll call you within 24 hours. Well, guess what? They've only 16% are still there. 84% have gone on to your competitor and done and asked. So if you've got a CRM, here's the process that we think should happen. When they click that green button and they request that information, they should be added to a CRM. They should be automatically, immediately assigned to a sales representative. That sales representative should get an email notification, a buzz on their phone that says, hey, you got a new lead. Here's their name. Here's their phone number. Call them right now because they're expecting your phone call. At the same time, the prospect pushed that you submitted that information, they should get an email going, hey, I'm Rick. I'm going to be working with you. I'm going to be calling you here in the next few minutes. So accept my, watch for my call because I'm really eager to learn more about what you're looking for. The task is assigned. They're put in an automated follow-up to keep them engaged. And there's a report made. Now the sales manager, the owner can see we've got a new lead. It's been assigned to Jason. Jason has got a task. Jason completed that task within 7 minutes. Very good. And they got their email. And we move it back through to the next stage. So those are some of the things. Right now, when we look at, I'm going to back up. Do you think it's humanly possible for every salesperson to engage within instantly? It's not.
It's not unless you are set up technology-wise to be able to have an automatic response go out when you hit the button.
That's it. So it's not just it's not that we have to do it, but they are looking for some kind of a response. They're looking for a response from us, and when we say, even if they know it's an automated response,
it still has to be personable, right?
And yeah,
you still want it to be a personal. It doesn't have to be a boring. Please be advised that I have gotten your. It can be a lively. You've written one or two for me on some websites I've helped design, and I know they're being a writer myself. I was kind of embarrassed because yours were so lively. I probably would have looked at the response and go, okay, they're going to call me.
It's taken 40 years to hone that craft, to write a compelling email, but to take the thing you have to do is take yourself out of the equation and just think, what do they want? And every sentence should lead to the next sentence. There, let's see. I'm looking at some comments. There's a long one from Chris. I'll get back to that. Let's see. Cecilia is asking if we can talk about using Facebook for ads as well. Absolutely. That's how people are engaging with us. That social media, like I showed YouTube. I kind of glazed over Facebook, but that's where people are hanging out. That's where people right now are keeping up with their family.
But shouldn't we be looking at Facebook as part of an overall digital strategy? When you go online, I mean, Facebook shouldn't be just the only thing we're looking at. And should we try and grow that organically as opposed to buying ads? Yes,
absolutely. Yes. We should be looking at the posts that we make. Here are a couple of ways to use Facebook. Number one, the question Cecilia asked had to do with advertising on Facebook, which is if you're going to advertise anywhere, start there. Here's why. Facebook has more information on each one of us. They know that you like Orvis. They know what you bought from Orvis. They know what color your left sock is and whether it matches your right sock. They know everything about you, Rick. And all I
do have different socks on today. So
and I mean they know everything. And so when we place an ad, we can say we're looking for people in this price range or in this age range. With this income, that live in these zip codes, that subscribe to these magazines, that have been in their home for less than 3 years, or who are renting. We can give over 100 data points that we can choose from to craft who we want to see that ad. So if we're keeping if we're looking at the people that are buying our home and we're looking at the trends from our buyers, then we can find people that are just like them. In fact, we can take all of our buyers and all the people that have inquired from us, and we can upload them into Facebook. It's called Facebook Custom Audiences.
Right.
And Facebook will go out and do the research and tell us all about, well, what are the online profiles of these 1,000 people? And it will say, okay, now we can reach those people with our ads, but here we can do lookalike audiences. So we can reach people that are just like them, who have the same data points and the same characteristics. So we're talking to people who are just like the people that we've already sold to. It's brilliant.
Scott, we're getting low on time. I want you to really go through this this response strategy and the CRM that you developed. I know there's a lot of CRM products out there, but I really want them to see yours because you developed one that is specific to manufactured housing and how people move back into it. And before we have to leave here, I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see this because I think it's phenomenal.
Thanks for keeping me on point, Rick. This is what we're looking at. When you've got a CRM, it should give you the ability, the tools to manage what's happening in your business, to measure them and manage. And what you measure tends to improve. It's better managed. So this is a visual representation of your sales funnel. From new lead, not contacted, they move into communication. They've come into our sales center, or we've done a video tour with them. They've moved forward, their sales pending, closed, and processed. So
I like the one down on the right, down on the very end. That's your dead pile that you go back to where you get your half of your sales from.
You know what? There's no such thing as dead. But when they go dormant, that means then dormant. We react. We put it. That's the re-engagement that we have, and it's got to be absolutely easy to you. To use what we do, and they didn't let me upload the video portion of this, but when we would take and we would just drag, just
click and drag
to the next side. It won't let me do it on here. I'll do it when call me to set up a time. I'll show you MHCRM and we'll do that. Technology. Let's look at how technology is also going to make us money. We've talked about engaging with buyers. We've talked about getting them into the sales. The sales position online using technology rather than our online services. But we've talked about we want to re-engage them with go back into that database and warm up those cold calls. We talked about that a bit. How about people that have already bought? What are we doing to nurture those? They've already bought. We've already got their money. But if we've got a loyalty program, then and we're continuing to go back to them. Number one, we're going to find out that they come back to us for additional sales. Hey, I want a porch on this unit. I want to expand. My mother wants a home. My sister wants a home. And so we get referrals. If our referral sales are not at 20 to 30%, we've missed it. So being able to go back and mine them. Plus, if we go back and talk with these people, then we're going back into Facebook and they're leaving their experiences. They're leaving testimonials for us. They're leaving reviews for us on Facebook, which are golden because that is social proof when they do that. So
service is important, right? Too, or we're going to. I'm sorry, you're going into the the maximizing existing contacts, but
I know that we've really. Been long on time, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Our service programs, our service can be equally automated here using this technology. Service ticket comes in, we create it. Parts, we move them over here. We just slide them into parts ordered. Service call scheduled. Service completed. It lets us see and track everything so easily.
One of the things that kept me with Orvis was I broke my rod when I was fishing with Tony Wiki one time. I called up the service line. They said, what did you do? And I said, do you guarantee me being stupid with my rod? And they're like, yeah, send it in. We'll give you a new one. So, when you're so good at your service side, again, that gets that customer loyalty out there where you're going to tell other people about it.
That's, yeah. You're going to go and you're going to, when they say, Mr. Robinson, would you leave a review? you're going to give them a 5-star review because they exceeded any expectations. You knew they didn't have to, but you did it anyway. That's where you build brand. That's what your brand, their brand represents. So let's just recap some of the tools. Interactive website, check. Video and 3D tours, check. Social media, we're in that. Online conferencing for people that can't come in or don't want to come in. Automated CRM, management reporting, all glued together by a well-defined strategy that allows us to put all this together. We've got some other webinars coming up. Before we run out of time, I wanted to say that in 2 weeks, John Underwood is going to be offering Planning for Success. 2 weeks after that, Paul Barreto, who's on the call today, hi Paul, is retaining, recruiting, and developing talent. He's going to talk about our people and retention and finding new people. Effective sales management, again with John Underwood on the July 16th. Engaging with your state association with our master fisherman, Rick Robinson.
Yours truly.
Yep. And then leveraging innovation. Paul Barreto is going to be back on August 13th with that. Let me look at a couple of these questions here that we have. What are your thoughts of using Craigslist or Zillow? If people read it, if you can get in front of your audience, and I would say try it, spend a little bit of money doing these things. If the response that you get pays for the ad, then do more of it. Done correctly, either one of those, Craigslist is very well used. And we didn't go into it because it's not strictly a technology today, but I would use that. Zillow's technology is worth investing in and looking at very, very closely. Again, try it with a little bit, spend a little bit of money. If it works, do more. And okay.
Any other comments? I don't have a comment open on mine, so I'll let you take the questions, Scott.
Okay. Tiffany asked, what is our CRM? We have developed from the ground up a CRM designed specifically for the manufactured housing industry. It's called MHCRM. Tiffany, I would love to demonstrate it for you. That's what I was showing you, some of the screenshots of that. And we are very, very excited about it. I would love to show it to you. So let me know if or contact me afterwards, and we will get to that. Richard Rand asked if we're going to be sharing our slide decks. Yes, we will. Had a little bit of trouble getting them uploaded today. Are they there now? Let's look. Yep, they are in. If you click files, you'll be able to download them right there. You should see a files on your toolbar there. And you should be able to download them directly from here. Thanks.
Hey, Rick, how are you doing? Just saying hi.
And let me see. My goodness, everybody stayed on for so long. Thanks. We really got cranking here today, and
went through a lot of material. We did.
We went through a lot. But technology, if you're not using technology, then you're not just behind the 8 ball. The 8 ball is not. You're not even on the same playing table. So this technology, everyone else is using it. I got to tell you, everyone is using it. As an industry, every other industry is using it. As an industry, we're slow, but that doesn't mean that we can't catch up and master the technology that allows us to sell more homes.
Thanks again for everybody for joining us today. Rick Robinson, I am with manufacturedhomes.com. We have been glad to have Scott Stroud here with us to give us all of his insight. He is Mr. CRM. He is Mr. Follow-Up. You want to read some of the stuff, you want to see some of the things that he has, you can go to his website. You can give him a call. LearnMH is a way that you can get to both of us as you take a look down there on the bottom. Also get to me through manufacturedhomes.com every 2 weeks. This time, be here. This is where we're going to be. We'll be here talking on these different topics, the one you see above. And once again, Scott and Rick from beautiful Cumberland, Kentucky. Scott on the lake, me, I'm on the river. And we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.